How about that? Okay, y'all, great night. I'm so happy to see everybody join us. We are just, it's such a privilege to have Dr. Shawn join us. For those of, most of us know who this wonderful doctor is, but for those of you that don't, let me introduce you. Dr. Shawn has a consistent track record of creating and leading nutrition products and new platforms that help people look, feel, and perform at their best. He has written lots of books. One of them was known as a bestseller called The Secret of Vigor. And that book was actually featured on the Dr. Oz show. And it talked about the detrimental effects of stress, of chronic stress on our bodies. He also has an award-winning documentary called Killer at Large that was written as a screen for First Lady Michelle Obama while she was in the White House, and that was part of her Let's Move agenda. He is trained in sports medicine, fitness management, exercise science, nutritional biochemistry, and as we all know, he is an entrepreneur. He is an amazing athlete, and I admire him so much as with his athleticism. But let me just tell you that he has competed at the national level, the international level of rowing, cycling, triathlon. And y'all, did you know that he currently holds the title of the world's fittest CEO? So with all of that, I just want to tell you how privileged we are to have you, Dr. Shawn, join us and help us understand and deliver the message of what we're dealing with so much with our kids and our kids' products. We hear day after day the stress that our kids are dealing with, the anxiety our kids have. So we have a lot of products that we know because we have personal experience that are helping children. So from your perspective, tell us about the products and tell us how you developed them and what is in them and why they're so amazing.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Dawn, and thanks everyone for jumping on for a few minutes to talk about this. So if for the new people, if you've never sort of heard our spiel before, if you will, right? I can sum it up in one sentence, right? We're the mental wellness company. We help people feel better, and when we say feel better, it could be that we're helping people lower stress. It could be that we're helping raise resilience. It could be that we're helping with mental focus. It could be that we're helping with general nutrition. It could be that we're helping with the signaling across your gut-brain axis, which is how our bodies make neurotransmitters and use neurotransmitters. So our mood is better and our motivation is better and our ability to relax is better and all that kind of stuff. So that mental wellness is important for everybody. Everybody has mental wellness. Yours might be high, it might be low. It's probably sort of in the middle. Like if you ask most people about their mental wellness, or if you ask most people how they're feeling, most people, their response will be, well, I feel fine. I feel okay, right? And that is code for, I'm kind of stressed out and I'm really fatigued all day long. And I have a little bit of brain fog. And you know what? I'm stressed and I'm tense and I'm irritable and I can't really relax enough to get a good night's sleep. And then that cycle starts the whole day, the whole thing starts the next day, right? But no one's going to say that, right? So they just say, fine. And that goes for literally millions and millions of people, even more so after we've come out of this pandemic. Now let's think about those smaller people, right? Those younger people, kids, they experience that times 10 through the pandemic, right? Social isolation for kids, disruption of school schedules, working from home, learning from home, like all of that kind of stuff. For kids, the level of stress, the level of like input, so to speak, is even worse than it is for adults. So a couple of years ago, right before the pandemic, we had the idea of, hey, we have all these products that parents are using with their kids, adult products that were formulated for adults, that they're using with their kids, at half of a dose or half of a capsule, or kids that can't swallow pills, they're emptying the powder into their smoothies or their juice or their oatmeal or something like that. and getting absolutely amazing results, right? Getting the same kinds of results that we expected with adults, we're now seeing in kids. And so we decided, you know what, why don't we put these products, these same ingredients, why don't we put them together in doses that are appropriate for kids, in delivery forms that are appropriate for kids. So we developed a chewable multivitamin, same nutrient profile as our adult multivitamin, which I would put up against any multivitamin in the entire nutraceutical industry as ours is being superior, and we can talk about why that is in a second. We put together a whole gut-brain axis system. So I don't know if you can see it. I don't even know where it is. It's up there. It's on the top of my shelf. You probably can't see it. We have a product called Fundamentals, which is a whole gut-brain axis system. It's a product for the gut, a product for the brain, and a product for the axis in between, the communication network that attaches those two brains, so to speak. That won an award when we launched it in 2018 called the Nutra Award, which is given to the best new supplement of the entire year, right? So it's kind of like winning the Oscar in the nutrition industry. So we won that in 2018, and we did a version of that for kids. But instead of being 3 products, gut brain axis, we know how kids are, right? I've met kids, right? I have had kids, right? I know that they're unreasonable. And so they don't want to have 3 products, right? And parents don't want to have 3 fights every morning. So our kids' Fundamentals is 1 product. It's all that stuff in 1 formula, 1 powder that is naturally sweetened, naturally flavored. It tastes kind of like fruit punch. And really, really easy to get down the hatch for kids. So, you can do multivitamin, which is all the vitamins, all the minerals in bioavailable forms, a blend of phytonutrients that we call the Bright Mind blend, because it really helps to wake up the brain. So you can do that for general nutrition, and that's what some parents are looking for. You can do gut-brain axis support for children, because that's what other parents are looking for, because it helps the kids not just with mood, but with resilience, with being able to show up in a given situation and just navigate their way through, even if it's not a good situation, right? So that's an important thing for kids these days. And then the last product, the most recent kids product that we did, and we did this about 2 years ago, is Kids Mood. And I'm always able to do this. I can always reach over on my desk and grab one, because I usually have these stick packs everywhere, right? They're always near where my computer is, because even though it's called Kids Mood, it's not just for kids, right? This is a little a little pixie stick. You rip it open and you dump it in your mouth. It's what we call a direct to mouth powder. And so we have kids that ask their parents for some brain sugar, because that's what it tastes like. It's sugar-free, it's naturally sweetened, it's all the things that you want, but it's a blend of ingredients that have been shown, like for example, the saffron that's in here. It's saffron and basil and oregano, and it's basically a spice rack inside this little thing, but it tastes, what is the flavor that we call it? We call it natural fruit. It tastes different than the fruit punch Fundamentals, but it tastes really good. The saffron that's in here has been compared head to head and shown equivalence to Ritalin for focus. It's been shown head to head and shown to be equivalent for Prozac for mood. It helps with sleep patterns. It's been studied in kids, it's been studied in teenagers, it's been studied in adults. A study just came out about 2 months ago in postmenopausal women, showing that it helps with tension and irritability and sleep quality and some of the things that can really go kablooey once you start going through that time of life. So, really, really nice product that, a lot of times the moms will go, all right, one for you and one for you and one for me. We see that kind of thing all the time because it has a really noticeable effect. So like those are our 3 specific kids products. And we actually put them together in a kids pack. So you can, parents can buy them individually and go, yeah, I want the nutrition product, or I want the gut brain axis product, or I want, the focus mood product. And great, you can use them individually, but we also put them together in a pack that pretty heavily discounts each individual one. So you can buy all 3 of them. And so you can give your kids all that, because one of the things that I find is that, and this is where it gets kind of challenging, is that you'll talk about all these different products and you'll go, yeah, this one helps with energy, and this one helps with mood, and this one helps with motivation, and this one helps with stress resilience, and this one helps with sleep quality. And people go, yeah, I'll take that. And I gotta go, wait, try to, don't you want to figure out like which is the one that's best for you, and, maybe combine a couple of them together. But so many people are so off the rails right now that this, like what we're doing, really, really resonates with a lot of people in a lot of these different ways. So we try to give as many options as possible, and then let people sort of pick and choose and combine what we call stacking. So people can say like, oh, I'll take the whole kids stack, or I'll take this one and this one, and, sort of customize, personalize my own stack. So that's kind of a quick overview of what we've got going on. Even the products that we have that are still adult products, they still can be very appropriate for kids. So we've got a whole line of what we call GBX foods, gut-brain axis foods. So we've got a really good protein. We've got a really good superfood, which is kind of like a fruit and vegetables greens kind of a product that also lowers stress. We've got a fiber product called seed fiber that gives you, many sources of fiber and phytonutrients, but also has some sort of anti-anxiety effects. Those are all powders that can be mixed into smoothies, and we've done that with our kids for years. Yeah, so those are a few of the examples, and I'm happy to answer specific questions if you guys have them.
I have two questions that come to my mind, because I think we constantly have, as we have new people join, the questions are, at what age are children able to take our products?
Yeah.
And then, I usually refer to weight. So address both of those.
Yeah. So from an age perspective, the products will be labeled as 2 and up, right? So we consider children to be anybody under the age of 18. And we consider, at least on the labels, children to start at 2 and go up to 17, right? So that's the sort of age recommendation. But I also say that, any of these products are basically just food, right? They're nutrients that are in these little packs or powders or tablets. And so as soon as a child is eating regular food, they're off of breastfeeding and they're starting to eat like food, then the products are appropriate, and parents can decide, should I go with a chewable? Should I go with a powder? How much of that should I, add into the kids' diet? But then you can also think of it from a body weight perspective, right? So, we can start the kids on the products as soon as they can eat regular food. But then when do you switch them over to an adult product? Do you need to wait until they're 17 or 18, or can you do that earlier? And that's when the body weight recommendations come in. So the rule of thumb that we use, especially with herbal products, is that once a child gets to be about 100 pounds, now metabolically, biochemically, they're more like an adult anyway. And so they can switch over. So you could have a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old or a 14-year-old that is 110 pounds, and they could assimilate. That's the word I was looking for, the adult dosage at that point, and you could switch them over. But then there's one more consideration. What does the kid want to do, right? So my son is 20 years old now. He's probably 140 pounds, right? He's tall and skinny. He'll fill out and, thicken out and stuff like that. But he still takes, as a 20-year-old, 140 something pound young man, he still takes the kids' products, and he does it out of personal preference, right? He doesn't like to swallow pills. He can now, but he'd rather just go, yep, scoop of this, scoop of that, or scoop of this, a pixie stick of this, and a couple of chewable wafers that taste like sweet tarts. And that's what works for him. So
I'm glad to know that. I didn't think about that. I don't like taking pills, although in the last 2.5 years that I've been with Amare, I've learned to take a lot of pills. Right. But if I could chew the GBX multivitamin, then that's okay. That's good to know. All right. Another question that comes to my mind is, there are a lot of kids that are obese. So what are your thoughts on kids using our Fit product?
The Fit product is super, super safe, right? That's always the first consideration for kids is safety. And so that's one of the reasons that, when we formulated Kids Mood, we didn't want to just do a smaller version of our adult mood product, right? Our adult mood product and our kids mood product are completely different formulations. They end up getting people to the same end benefit, which is better mood, better resilience, better focus, all that kind of stuff. But they do it through completely different paths, so to speak. And the reason we did that is that the main ingredients in Mood Plus for adults had never been studied in children before, right? So we wanted to put safety first, and then once we can get the safety, then we'll dial in the efficacy or the effectiveness. With GBX Fit, those are all super, super safe right out of the gate, right? It's 2 probiotic strains. It's an orange extract, and it's a fiber. Like, you really can't get a safer ingredient profile. And so for a kid or a teenager that needs to, maybe help with their appetite, maybe help with their stress eating, maybe help with their metabolism and their blood sugar control, maybe help with encouraging their body to release fat instead of holding on to fat. Those are all things that a lot of people that are younger than 18 can absolutely benefit from.
Thank you so much for that. And as you speak, obviously, the more questions come up, but I will address one that is in the chat. And it says, if a young teen doesn't like the taste of kids fundamentals, what would you recommend for anxiety?
Well, a young teen, yeah. I'd say Kids Mood. Kids Mood can really, really take the edge off. If they don't like the taste of Kids Fundamentals, they're really not going to like the taste of seed fiber. Seed fiber can be like almost immediately effective in tamping down those anxiety signals. And the reason for it is that it helps the microbiome talk more clearly to the anxiety centers in the brain. And so that's one that's super, super effective for people, but it's a fiber. Like, it is really like organic experience, right? And kids aren't going to like that at all. So if they can't take Kids Fundamentals, I'd say try Kids Mood. If they can take a pill, then it depends on what the parents want to do, right? Mood Plus, I give to my kids, right? So my kids now are 20 and 23, but prior to that, if they were 15 and they were able to swallow a pill, I wouldn't have any problem with that, me personally, right? So that's a parent recommendation. Parents can make that determination for their own kids, but that's a very potent kind of a product that's definitely going to have an effect. Does that help?
Okay. Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's circle back to one of the things that as a group, specifically on this call tonight, we have talked about and really addressed our kids with stress, depression, and anxiety. I know that you've addressed our specific products that we have, but speak to what's going on with our kids. We know that our goal is to try to get these products in as many hands as possible, but speak to that as the way that you see it in our society today. What's going on?
I mean, think about what kids are going through right now, right? I mean, we're all of us are stressed out. All of us are like busy. All of us have all this input from all the media that we're seeing, right? And it's all, a lot of it is just negative stories and things like that. But now think of it from a kid's perspective. They're getting all of that, but they're also not in the social support networks that they have, right? They can't be, complaining to their friends all the time, like kids are supposed to do, right? That's a natural outlet for kids that has been really cut off in a lot of ways for them with all the social distancing and the masking and the, school from home and the canceling sports and stuff like that. And even though that stuff is starting to come back now, there's residual damage, and you can see report after report after report coming out from CDC and World Health Organization, and every psychological organization in the world is reporting about how what we've just gone through for the last 2 years is like, even though it's starting to open, there are going to be residual effects in our kids, right? And it's going to take a while for them to build back to their normal levels of social connections and resilience and all that kind of stuff. So I look at it, and from my background as a nutritional biochemist and a nutritional psychologist, I look at that and say, well, hey, is there a way that we can help naturally sort of move that along a little bit? And we know, with what we know scientifically about the gut-brain axis, their neurotransmitters start in the gut and have their signaling effects here. By doing that, we can improve the strength of their immune system, which has a protective effect, but also has a mental wellness, well-being effect. We know that the kids are not getting these sources of nutrients, especially fibers and phytonutrients, from their diets. Absolutely not. And so they're deficient. Their microbiome is deficient by definition because they're not feeding those high fruit and vegetable, high fiber, high phytonutrient diets. And this is a way, the nutrients that we have in all of these products is a way for us to kind of bolster that effect and close that gap. So what you end up seeing happening is those kids start to feel better. They sleep better. Their energy is naturally better the next day. Their mood is better. Their resilience is better. They're less nervous in situations. They're less likely to have a meltdown or a blow up. They're just able to sort of navigate this stressful world in a much, much more, I was just about to say better, but it's different than that. It's a more nuanced way. It's like they're better at problem solving. They're better at creative solutions. They're better at just plain old regular stress resilience, right? So they don't run away from a stressful situation. They're able to stay there and deal. And that, those I think are really important skills, I guess. I don't know if they're skills or traits or what they are, but they're certainly important things that we want our kids to have, So
and every time as you speak, like I said, I keep coming up with questions, Shawn. This is going to be the last one, but let me just say, I think we all see kids being kids. And it's hard, as parents to just monitor everything that they put in their mouth. But I see kids that, they'll be eating a bag of Doritos and drinking an orange soda, and they're athletes, and then it comes time for them to go and do something in gymnastics, and they have a breakdown. They're going to continue to eat junk as kids for the most part, but if they add our products in, address that.
Yeah. Oh, this is a great question. This is actually a question that I ask all my students. So I teach a college course on maximizing mental fitness. So we teach the college kids exactly the same principles that we talk about here at Amare. Same stuff I write about in the mental fitness book. Same stuff that we teach the coaches that we do. We teach groups of we have a certification program for mental wellness coaches, same sort of thing. One thing that I ask all of those different cohorts is I'll say, listen, Doritos are a part of our world. Oreos are a part of our world. Like all this junk that's around us is a part of our world. And we're going to eat some of it, right? Myself included, right? Professional nutritionist over here, right? Is it better when we're making choices for ourselves or helping other people try to make their choices? Is it better to tell people to stop eating all that bad stuff, or tell them to start eating some of this good stuff? And I'll give people a few minutes to think about it, right? And then I'll poll the audience. And I'll say, how many say stop eating the bad stuff? And a bunch of hands will go up. And I'll say, how many people say start eating the good stuff? And a bunch of hands will go up. And the answer is eat the good stuff, right? And the reason for, and there's really good studies that show that this is the way to go. If we can get people to eat more of the good stuff, eat more brightly colored fruits and vegetables, get more fiber in your diet, all that kind of stuff, the things that people already know. If we can also supplement them with those good nutrients, the phytonutrients and the fibers and the prebiotics and the right probiotic strains, et cetera, what ends up happening is you start growing a good population of good bacteria. They start producing the kinds of neurotransmitters that change your appetite, so those Doritos don't look quite as enticing, that lower your stress levels, so you don't go off the rails and lose all your willpower and start eating all the bad stuff. Doing the good stuff sort of displaces your drive to choose the bad stuff. And so by default, almost at a subconscious level, you do the good stuff, but at a subconscious level, people start doing less of the bad stuff. And then you haven't said to them, no Doritos for you, because as soon as you actually say that to somebody, what do they want? They want more Doritos, right? Like everybody wants that, right? The thing you can't have is the thing you really, really want. And so if we sort of do an end run, and we can easily do an end run with these supplements to get the right nutrients in there, your whole behavior changes. It's amazing to see, but we see it all the time.
That's awesome. That is awesome. All right. Thank you so much. You've just enlightened us so much with all the information. I do want to encourage everybody to stay with us till the end of the call, because we have two amazing giveaways. Also, Dr. Shawn, I don't know how long you can stay on with us. If you can stay the whole time, great. If not, I know you have another call in shortly. So, but I'm going to turn it over now to Melanie and Lila and let them give their story and their experience. They've been with Amare almost a year. Lila started the products, and she just has a precious story of how amazing the products have helped her. So are you guys around? Do I see you, Melanie and Lila?
Yeah, we're here.
Oh, there you are. Okay, excellent. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to y'all, and y'all share your story and let Dr. Shawn hear this amazing testimony from Lila.
So Lila has, I guess, been experiencing anxiety her whole life. I didn't know it was anxiety until later on. But going back to kindergarten, she started vomiting on Sunday nights before school. She started to develop this like school phobia. I thought it was because she was young for her age. I mean, for her grade, you know, she's an October baby. But I really kind of thought it was a maturity thing. As time went on, and her stomach still hurt a lot, and she couldn't handle certain foods, and she would, you know, throw up and things like that. We took her to her allergist. We took her to all kinds of doctors, and really nothing helped. But I see now that all of that was all connected to her gut health and her anxiety. And you know, once she started taking, like fast forwarding, but once she started taking the kids' fundamentals, we have not had any of those gut issues anymore. And she likes her spicy foods too. Like she likes an Italian sub and spicy Doritos and all that stuff. So it's amazing that she, you know, I said to her this morning, remember when you used to eat Tums all the time? That you were just popping Tums like candy. We used to get the chewy ones and all kinds of stuff. But it's amazing how all of that was all linked together, and how her anxiety has, you know, come to a halt, and her gut issues are gone. But I'll let her tell you a little bit about her experience and how she used to feel and how she kind of feels now.
Awesome.
So when I started school, I had a really hard time, like even going to school, because I was scared for some reason, and because it was my anxiety. And I had stomach aches, and I would always cry. And sometimes I would even cry in school in front of everybody because I was so scared. And then throughout elementary, it got better until 4th grade, when I had a lot more work to do, and I got a mental block in cheer, and it stopped me from doing my tumbling. So I had to go to school all day and do my work, and then go home and do my homework, and then go to cheer and have a really hard time doing what I like to do. And it was really hard for me to get over that. But then I started to go to therapy, and it helped me like get over my school. Like I was able to get my work done a little bit, but it didn't help a lot. And by 5th grade, the therapy was helping a lot, and I was able to get my work done, and I got over my mental block so I could enjoy cheer. And then COVID hit and ruined everything. And
Exactly. Ruined everything. I'm with you.
Yeah. So once COVID hit, my husband was very sick with COVID in the very beginning, and it was just a very stressful situation. And we were isolated. He was sick, you know, and we weren't sure what was going to happen from day to day. So I think that in itself too was a huge stressor for all of us. And then not being in school for 5 months, she had to go back to school, and now she was entering middle school. So it was like a new school. And the anxiety came back like tenfold that August. Instead of, getting like the jitters a week ahead, it was like a month of crying every night, a month of spiraling conversations and things like that. Anyway, fast forward now, she's going to 6th grade. We still haven't really addressed these anxiety issues. She started going to a therapist more regularly. It was helping, but her anxiety level was so high that the strategies, she couldn't use them because she was like here, and she couldn't, ground herself enough to think like, all right, when you're in the middle of a panic attack, you're not thinking, let me take 5 deep breaths. So she, unfortunately, things were going all right. She was in cheer again, the mental block, she was past it, but she ended up having another mental block. And I don't know if everybody knows what it is, but it's like when you lose yourself in the air and you get scared and your brain kind of sends a signal to your body, like, that's dangerous. Do not flip backwards in the air, and you want to do it, but you can't. And it's extremely stressful and traumatic when it's like the joy of your life is doing this, and it's your escape, and now you don't have that anymore. And she ends up being in like a very, very dark place after the second mental block. Now she's been through therapy, she's been through COVID, she's been through all this stuff, and that anxiety really manifested into a deep, dark depression, where it was nightly spiraling conversations, crying, stomach aches, vomiting, everything. And then we ended up in the psych emergency room one day because she was having these thoughts, and she was saying things like she wanted to go to bed and not wake up. She wanted to, just kind of disappear, not exist. And the guidance counselors at school spoke to her, and they told me that, we should definitely bring her somewhere. And after a half an hour speaking with her, they prescribed Zoloft. So now, as desperate parents, we just want this to stop and for her to get better. So they put her on a placebo dose, which scared me because I have this child who is saying that she, doesn't want to exist anymore. And they're saying that the medication is not going to work for at least maybe 4 weeks, if it works at all. We don't really know. And so in the meantime, I had started as a wellness partner, and I had the launch packs with all the stuff. So, I was just looking to get like better skin and lose some weight, but I was like, we have this stuff at home, Lila, and you're gonna take it every day. And it's kind of funny because when people ask, like, what if your kids don't like it? She was like, just make them take it. I said, yeah, exactly. Like, I made her take it. There was no choice in the matter. There was no, it was like, I don't care how you take it. You can take it with Coke. I don't care. Like, you can take it with orange soda. You can take it, whatever you want to do, but you're taking it every single day. And she did. And she had immediate results from it. So maybe you want to tell them how you felt in the beginning when you started taking the kids' fundamentals.
When I started taking it, it was just so easy in school, and I had even more work than I did in 4th grade, and I didn't want homework because my teachers that year didn't give homework, and I was like, if I don't get my work done, I'm gonna have to do that for homework, and it's gonna take time out of my day, so I don't want to do that. And in school, I was able to get my work done like 10 minutes before the period ended, and that never happened before, like, ever. And it just, and I didn't even realize until you brought it up.
Oh.
And it was just so easy, everything.
Well, I guess that's kind of like what you were saying, Dr. Shawn, too, that kind of like just makes things a little easier. And it really was. And, some people would say, how do you know it wasn't the Zoloft or, in the kids' fundamentals? Well, because the Zoloft wasn't even it was a placebo dose. It wasn't meant to do anything at that point. But besides that, weeks later, she was going on a camping trip with her friend. And she started having major anxiety about this camping trip. And it was like a panic attack where she was spiraling and she was being very irrational. And, what if this, what if that, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if, and I was like, we haven't had this in a month. What's going on? Why all of a sudden, this is supposed to be something fun. It's a vacation with your friend. And I was like, have you been taking your medication? And she was like, yes. I said, have you been taking your kids' fundamentals? And she said, oh no, I forgot the last couple of days. So I saw a huge difference when she did not take the kids' fundamentals. But I tell everybody now, she is like more confident than ever seen her in her life. Since kindergarten, every teacher has always said, like, I wish you would just be more confident. I wish you would just come out of her shell a little. I wish she would just be a little more confident. And now Tori and I were kind of talking today and saying, I wish you like take it down a notch, but she is so happy and so well adjusted. Her cheer life is thriving. Her school life is thriving. Her social life is thriving. She plays every sport imaginable. And even if she's not good at it, like that was a big thing with you when you were little. If she wasn't good at it, she wanted nothing to do with it. So she didn't play sports because cheer was her thing. She was really good at it. She knew that was, that she was an elite tumbler and she could do it. And now she plays soccer, lacrosse, and she just tries it. And she's like, and if she doesn't, she's saying, I'm not good at lacrosse, but she just picked up a stick for the first time, like, a month ago. So but yeah, she's just dealing so much better in everything.
Melanie, that is awesome. We so appreciate Lila, your story. Dr. Shawn, I know you have another call that you were going to hop
that
on
is fantastic. Melanie and Lila, thanks so much for sharing that. I'm so glad I got to stay on for that. That was fantastic. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
All right, and I'll see all you guys later, okay?
Thanks,
Bye, guys.
Shawn. Lila and Melanie, thank you all so much. It means so much to us. And I'll tell you, Lila, you're really helping us. We share this video over and over again. It gets passed down to lots of people. So we're working on your stardom. Okay, Kristi, I'm going to turn it over to you next. You're going to briefly give us an introduction to the business side, the business development of what we're doing here with Amare and how they can, how people can use our products.
Absolutely. Thank y'all for the opportunity to be on tonight. I'm so touched by Melanie and Lila's story, and it just confirms to me the importance of what we're doing at Amare. Amare means to love. And I know it sounds cliche, but dang it, the world needs more love. And I am honored that I get to represent a company that stands for love and whose core values are love, service, humility, integrity, and innovation. So for me, anytime I am choosing a business to partner with, it's very important that that company's mission, culture, and values align with my own. And so I will tell you, I was very intrigued by a holistic approach to living and feeling better. It aligns with my faith, and it aligns with the fact that I believe this earth was created with all of the things that we need to heal and restore our bodies. And I was looking for a holistic approach when Dawn was actually the person who introduced me to Amare. I had an amazing experience really quickly, just like a lot of people did. And it really caused me to be curious. And what I will tell anyone that's on this call tonight or who is listening to the replay, be very curious. Ask whoever invited you to the call tonight to learn more about our products, to learn more about our mission, because it's so fulfilling to hear of people like Lila, whose lives we can directly impact. but we can't do it alone, y'all. We need boots on the ground. We need arm in arm people to join forces with us who see the vision of the company, who understand the need for our products. And so I will tell you that I had spent my entire career in corporate America. Most recently, I was with FedEx for almost 16 years. I also served as the corporate president of an international organization for women. I am not at all telling you these things to brag or create any sort of focus on myself. The reason I'm telling you those things is to say this. I had been around businesses and understood the business climate and the unique timing of this industry. And I'll use FedEx as an example. I'm in Memphis, and this is where FedEx is headquartered. In our city alone, we have over 30,000 employees, and I'm still saying we because I was at FedEx so long, it just rolls off my tongue. But FedEx was created in 1977. It was started by Fred Smith and a handful of people that he handpicked to start his company. Those people had an opportunity for something that created a financial legacy for their families. Today, FedEx is by no means the only transportation and logistics company out there, but every other company in transportation and logistics is measured against FedEx. I say that to tell you this. Amare Global is the industry creator for mental health and mental wellness. We have an opportunity to make a difference in so many lives, to deliver a product, to deliver a solution, to deliver hope of things that people are actually searching for and often praying for. It is something that I take very seriously. I feel that it is such an important, probably the most important work that I've ever had the privilege of doing. And we need people to join voices, to lock arms with us. If you see this as a potential interest, you wouldn't be here, first of all, if you weren't somewhat intrigued. But I want to give you some quick numbers about the growth that our company has experienced. The first quarter of 2022, our year-over-year growth compared to 2021, our revenue was up 150%, 150. Our new customer base was up 390%, and our new partners were up over 476%. Y'all, in this day and time, that is unheard of. There are very few businesses that have even a fraction of this type of growth. And so all that does is confirm to me that we are in the right place at the right time, because the market is there, the need is there. We have the perfect timing. So please be curious. Please ask the person who invited you to this call to learn more about how our products are helping others, and about how much there is a need for you to join with us. I'll use this final example before I turn it back over. But think about how often I have been on Facebook and somebody says, okay, what do you recommend on the next binge TV? You know, what's hot on Netflix? What did I watch on Hulu? What's on, DirecTV? And all of these responses start filtering in. Well, guess what? We want to create those kind of conversations around mental wellness. We want to start those conversations on social media and have people ask us, what do you recommend for my child's anxiety? What do you recommend to help me get out of this brain fog? What do you recommend to help me sleep better or have more energy or have a healthier gut or have some weight loss? And so these are the kind of conversations that we need people like you to help initiate those conversations, to spread the word. We are Amare Global for a reason. We are currently launched in the United States, in Mexico, and in Canada. Our next country to be launched is Australia, and then into the UK. And it will go on and on and on. So what an awesome opportunity to get to be an ambassador for a company that is so needed, products that are so needed, and that we could be that voice and be that person to change a life. So with that,